Hi, I'm currently in my chaotic workstation, and we need to talk about the fact that most people, even creative people, end up making a product that is a commodity. Now, the problem with a commodity is it's not special anymore. I have observed that a lot of times designers make creative things, and these creative things don't really sell as much as their more basic things. It's almost like, let's say, I have a concept. I have some snake bones over here, right? And I make some earrings. Let me see if I have them here. No, I don't. All right, that's fine. I make earrings, I make necklaces. I do have other earrings here to show you. So, this is gemstone, this is gold plated, this is silver plated wire, glass, crystals, and snake bone. Now, this is a more creative design. This is an example. This is something I haven't assembled yet and not worked on yet, because I already made a necklace like this. So this is the pendant, there's a snake bone in the middle, and there's a little chain. This is more simple, but it's still a little bit creative because of the shape. It's very Y2K. Okay, this took me quite a while to sell. The other thing didn't sell at all yet. Okay, the things that sold were one little snake bone on a necklace that already looks like necklaces that people wear. Do you get what I'm saying? So they like that it's a little bit different, but it's still in a comfort zone. Now, as an alternative person, that's a problem. As an artist, that's a problem. As a creative, that's a problem, because we do a lot of creative stuff. I have some artwork here. This is something I will sell prints of, for example. I just want to show you one thing for now. If you're curious, follow me on Instagram. You're going to see more. Okay. Now, on one hand, this is the artist's best weapon. This is what makes them unique. This is their unique selling point, is that they have something that's special, right? But it seems, from my observations and my experience, that people still want more things that are not too crazy. So a lot of us fall into the trap of creating commodities instead of true wearable or not wearable, or usable or not usable art, right? Sometimes it's just decoration, sometimes it's practical, or you can use it, you can wear it, like this hoodie that I made. I think this is a perfect blend of commodity and design. It's not a typical print, it's an embroidery. The whole thing is very high quality, so it's not in the same price range as a normal hoodie. This will cost you £100, right? It lasts very long. I've had it for around 6 months and it still looks like new. There's no fading, there's no weird anything going on. It doesn't attract a lot of hair or anything because I have a cat. Some black fabrics really attract dust and everything. This doesn't. It's organic cotton. Okay, so all of this, that is the selling, right? That's the selling point. That's what makes people buy it, because it has all of these attributes. It smells better as well because it's organic cotton. Black things often smell bad. People don't know it because in black you have to use so much dye, toxic dyes as well, mind you, especially black. The darker you get, the more toxic your garment will be. So when you buy something like this, you have the benefit of not having toxins in it because it's organic, even the dye. Cool. So this is quite rare, what I just told you. This is quite rare. But a lot of people, when I put just this hoodie in the shop, will just see the price and say, oh my God, end of story. So a lot of us are tempted to do cheaper things to maybe be not so sustainable, so that we can keep our costs down, so we can offer people a low price. Now we stepped into the Commodity! Yay! Not really yay, because now we lost what makes our thing and what makes it unique. I mean, truly, you have to play the dance, right? The dance between your crazy ideas, your very creative ideas. One second. For example, I have this necklace. There was a pendant on it. So imagine this with like I just have like a random cross right now, so like something like this. I have different pendants. Okay, this is gonna be too heavy. But see how much it changed? This. Okay, the snake bone fell down. I'm also shaking a bit because I had 2 coffees almost. Anyway, there's another one. I like this one. Okay, so anything you add is gonna be, oh, what is this? What does this mean? Da da da. Some customers come in, they just buy, right? But these people are the minority. So yeah, it seems like most people have so many good ideas, but they don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to build a brand. They don't know how to show up. And that's why I'm here. Because I worked for 2 years as a e-commerce manager and I managed the social media. I had a lot of time to play around. And the research I did in my whole years of almost like more than a decade actually, 12 years of sales. So I worked in different shops selling different types of fashion. I worked for fast fashion. I worked for event garments, like wedding dresses, like gowns and all of these type of things, accessories. I've seen all of this, right? And I worked where I worked in a furniture store as well. It was an organic furniture store that had cosmetic, fashion, and furniture and homeware. So I did a lot. I saw a lot. I did a lot of merchandising, and I was managing in that organic shop. I was managing my own whole area. And I was one of the main people with the fashion. So we did the merchandising and stuff. We did get guidelines. But yeah, it was a good way to just see what works. So I have all of this experience, but I went to fashion school when I was young. So one day I'm gonna make other videos explaining my whole story, how I moved to London and stuff like that. But basically, I just woke up one day and I realized that I felt pressure to be a commodity myself. What that means, the pressure to fit in, the feeling that you're not good as you are, you have to be a certain way to just, I don't know, survive, like in a social sense. People underestimate how much that affects you if you have been bullied and all of these things. I actually had one guy try to flirt with me. That was actually crazy because I was 30 years old. He was 19. And he was like, oh, I see your alternative style. Like I always wear black and stuff, especially back then. Now I'm a bit more feminine and stuff, and I'm a bit more bubbly, like, because I'm a complex person like everybody else, right? So, but anyways, back then it was a bit more emo, I guess. So he was like, oh, he shared that style, like skater, wearing black with like bold things on, kind of what I'm wearing right now. It was like, yeah, people like us, we've been hurt, we've been bullied, stuff like that. I was like, yeah, you know what? Most alternative people have been bullied. Because it's not an advantage. Like sometimes people say, oh, you want attention, this and that. But it's not an advantage to be different like this. It's just really a comfort thing. At least for me. I think for people who are truly alternative for most of their life, we have phases where we're normies, but in the end of the day, it always feels very restrictive, very wrong. So it's not like always a rebellion and this and that. I mean, at the heart, I think I am punk because it's like questioning all of the things that put pressure on you, questioning if that's necessary, if I want to fight against it, and being anti-capitalistic. Now, the problem is you have to play into it still. So we have all of our values as a person. But as soon as we want to make money, we have to play the commodity game. We have to play the game of fitting in. At least that's what we think. So there's arguments of, and I am actually right now really contemplating how do I want to integrate all of my ventures, all of my projects. Because I'm not gonna make all like separate YouTube channels, platform accounts for all of my ideas. I can't do that. But in the end of the day, like, a lot of people end up like this, where they're like, actually, maybe not exactly like me, right? But for me, I have a fashion brand. I have the business side, the business consultation, the business services, the branding, and all of these services I offer as well. Then we have other things that I'm interested in. I study personal training. I'm into health and fitness. I'm into natural cosmetics, beauty, stuff like that. I have dreadlocks, right? So obviously I'm into natural stuff. You can tell probably. So I would say it's congruent, meaning authentic and true to myself, to show all of these things, right? But then the platforms and the algorithms are against us. They are against authenticity. I don't care what you say. It's against it because it just wants to be a drug, okay? Like an addiction-based system. That's what the algorithm is. So if we're not outraging people or making them comment because they want to correct us or whatever, or they want to fight in the comments, or they're just so horned up, I don't even know, like, I don't see much more beyond these things that get a lot of engagement and comments, to be honest with you. Something crazy has to be going on. So if you want to do something authentic, it's not going to be like that. So you already lost if you feel like you have to do this. And that's where a lot of us become very pessimistic. A lot of us become super pessimistic. I was definitely very pessimistic, thinking I have to be something I'm not. Once again, I'm faced with this. And some of us, they give up. They were alternative their whole life, and it sounds so dramatic, so melodramatic, like, oh, we lost one alternative person. But being alternative to me means just being authentic. Because by just having a style, for example, physically, like the way you present yourself, the way you dress, is already alternative. Alternative is not just being a goth or being a punk or being something like that. It's not actually a uniform. That's what I believe. That's why these things have a different name. I was really confused for the longest time because my style was more goth. I had a punk phase and some punk influence, and then other influences like I like anime, so that's gonna influence something and stuff like that. I couldn't put myself in a category. But then as soon as you want to make money as a creative or think you have a career, or you can even like just build like a personal brand, be kind of something like an influencer, I guess, or just use that personal brand to get eyes on what you're offering as well, right? That's kind of what I'm doing. Like, I hope that when you watch this video, maybe it's not going to be that way because I'm just kind of starting, but I hope one day under this video is going to be like a little merchandise section with my art prints. I'm going to make some notebooks, for example, with it. Stuff like that. Some of my embroidered things, some of my printed on things, stuff like that, you know? Not just to support me and to have YouTube merch and because I'm an influencer and I have this ego. I don't really care about all of that. I never wanted to be famous. I'm actually quite introverted, you know, so I don't like, I always got so much attention because of my looks, because I just look very different. In everywhere I was, I always looked different. Now in London it's much better because there are lots of Caribbean and mixed people, but even amongst them I still look different. So I get enough of that, right? I get enough of that. Um, but at the same time, I also can't really hide because I'm a very authentic person, and the way I show you things and do things and connect with you is through these types of videos where I'm kind of rambling, but I'm kind of hitting on very deep things that we should all think about, because these are the things that are in our way. Not knowing who you are and stuff, that's why people don't have an idea how to show up. Not accepting the truth. Like, I had to accept I'm not a super productive person. I'm not a person who's gonna doll up every single day. Sometimes I'm gonna look like this, just having washed my face, putting on some moisturizer, and that's it. Right? And I have acne at the moment because of hormones or whatever. And that's it. And I can't rely on the perfect scenario anymore. I got fed up with being perfectionistic. Most of the time, the real change happens when we get really fed up. So you have to tap into your anger sometimes. You have to go in and say, this actually is really getting on my nerves, that I feel like I have to fit in, that I have to look a certain way. This anger is justified. It's a part of you. I would even say it's a part of your soul who's crying out and telling you, I need to be expressed too. It's not just these outside things. Why are you abandoning me? I do white magic and alchemy and stuff, which means basically you just take things, you put on different glasses, right? We can hear, we can feel, we can see, or we could all take that to the side and talk about how we feel, right? So if I label these feelings that are more complex, not like, oh, I'm happy, I'm tired, I'm hungry, not like that. If I go a little bit deeper and I want to label it, I say this is energy stuff, you know? This is the energy territory now. It's not visual, it's not auditorial, it's not verbal, it's energy, it's feeling, it's sensing, it's purpose, it's drive, it's you know, energy. So there is a negative energy when we don't express ourselves authentically. There's always some type of restrictive feeling, and this restrictive feeling, logically, it's holding you back, isn't it? Because you feel restricted, because you are, because you're falling for, or you're stepping outside of your own true self, and you put more weight into other people's thoughts and what they say and what they express and who they are. You see the validation, because we're programmed as a human to be very social and dependent on each other. That's why we're not like a lizard who just, you know, just cracks out of an egg and then just lives its life, you know, from day one. Like, think about that. So when we fall for the lie that we have to worship other people and what they think and what they say and how they react, if we do that too much, it's a problem, right? We do have to think about how we come across, and that's very, very difficult. I think that's one of the most difficult and frustrating things. And it relates to everything. Like, literally, in love and relationships, we really need to be seen and to be loved for who we really are, to feel like some type of completion. And a lot of us just chase that, and we feel like we never get it. I think it's because, like, it becomes a desperate thing. It becomes a needy thing, and then it's always going to be some toxic stuff. So I think that's why. I think it's one of these things where you need to let go. All of this. You really need to let go. You need to come back to yourself. When I went through this phase after being a teenager that was completely rebellious and punk and everything, and I came to London, and I felt this pressure of, I was unsure. I knew that I would fit in more here in London just by my presentation and who I am. Even like just being an artist and stuff. I knew that there would be more opportunities here and everything. But I was still very insecure because I was just fresh, I was new. So in that phase, I guess I felt more safe to be a bit more normal, right? And I was a single mother as well, so I just felt like just be presentable and just observe your new environment for a bit, right? So at one point I got fed up. I didn't feel good enough. Not good enough. I didn't feel good anymore doing that. I was like, something, I don't like this. So I started playing around with my hair and stuff because I was like, oh, now this is a new style, I shifted into this energy of new beginnings and things like that. The past was still haunting me. So now, finally, I came to this point now where all of this resulted in really deep questions of, who am I? What do I want? And does my life align with what I want? And then when I realized that's not the case, like what I want is not what I have right now, to not drown in like depressive mood. A lot of times it's like an up and down thing, right? We keep having these depressive phases and everything. And in a way, I mean, if you're chronically depressed like me, I don't claim it, to be honest with you. I don't feel like it anymore now. But you will always have little phases, but it's going to be very different. That's why I say I don't feel like it now. It's going to be very different when you live your purpose. And I don't like to say live your purpose because, I don't know, it reminds me of these like new age things and manifestation things. And I'm very spiritual. I'm very woo-woo sometimes. I have my gifts and my powers and stuff, my white magic. And you're gonna notice this in videos. That's also something I decided to be. I really have to be 100% authentic, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I have to share everything, but you get me. Anyway. But I don't like the language of like living your purpose and stuff. It sounds very like a super big goal that is always gonna feel like it's gonna be in the future always. And I don't like that. It just makes us like procrastinate and give us like more to feel like, oh, my life now is so far away from this. And we don't really take the steps that we have to take to get to that level of having our goals actualized, right? My goals felt very far away and stuff when I wasn't really being myself. Now everything just feels more like play. And as someone who was depressed for most of my life in the past, this is very, very significant that my life in general now feels more like play instead of some abyss, some hopeless pit, That's how a lot of people feel. And I really want to connect with anybody who still has a little bit of hope, Or maybe this is just a reminder of like maybe you are further ahead and also going after your dreams already. But this is a reminder of the obstacles that come in the way, and they are often linked with other people. So sometimes the white magic tip of today of me is get back into your own energy and foster it, like give it water, so to speak, Even literally like if you're really thinking about having a difficult time with this, like you just want to do something and you feel like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna work, this and that. With these feelings and thoughts, just like wash it off, like close your eyes in the shower, in the bathtub, and just let it wash away. Let the water take care of it. Let it cleanse you. Right? All you need is to focus in the moment, like this is something I'm gonna do now to get rid and to free myself of this burden of feeling like other people are holding me hostage or something like that. They're having a part of me. They're doing something. They have negative intentions. They're not for me. They're not supportive. Whatever it is, or I feel the pressure to be like them or to do what other people are doing, and I'm not good enough, and I'm not like this, I'm not like that, I'm not productive, I'm depressed, I'm this and that, like all of these negative things. When you are in the water, which is cleansing your energy, if you let it, and you open that up and you say, I let these thoughts pass through, appear, but I'm not gonna stay stuck in it. I'm not gonna give any meaning to it right now, because what I'm doing now, you have to keep telling yourself that what I'm doing now is being aware of all of this negativity and, let it out. That's what it's about. It's a letting go thing. So these cleansing rituals can really help you if you do that. And that's my tip of today with the magical side of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe and everything, because we need more people to really support like realness, because in this world it's very easy to be lost in the addictive nature of the algorithm. And so we need to tell the algorithm that this stuff also matters, right? Even if it's not that entertaining, I hope it's still a little bit entertaining, or you can do your dishes meanwhile or something. So thank you for your time. Thanks for being here, and talk to you soon. Bye.